Hey folks, welcome. Looky. It's the first one of 2025, I believe, right? Is that no, 2026. Final answer. In fact, cut that last take out. That's not going to work.
What?
There we go.
What's going on?
There we go. Here we go. Close.
Hi, peoples.
Hey, John. Great to see you. So, anyways, let me just double check the audio here.
Yeah,
we're good.
As some of you can tell, Dylan finally let me know where he was doing his office hours on Monday.
Yeah, so I had told him that I moved.
And I would just, and he gave me, you know what? 1, false address. Shame on him. 2, that's shame on me. Although I got to meet that Sydney Sweeney kid, because that's one of the address he gave me.
Oh, so is that one of the addresses that made its way through to you?
Yeah. Makes a hell of a BLT. That kid, tell you what. So now Dylan is getting over some laryngitis. So his voice is a little rough.
But it's basically back.
So, you sound good.
Yeah,
you actually sound better than when I arrived at the door.
I've been tempering it down. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
I had the full Godfather going.
That's what you said in the that's why I don't speak to immediate family. I'm just protecting my instrument.
Laughing is gonna ruin the entire thing. No, you know what? This was the real Bonnie Raitt voice for a while there, minus the ability to sing like Bonnie Raitt. But I had all the raspiness, and a couple people. I was playing at various churches, and they're like, "Yeah, you got the raspy going." And I was like, "I just can't hit any notes though. If I could keep the raspy."
That's right. So I know that I do know that some of your previous office hours you were talking about. Especially going over with Holly, you were discussing chord melody and some of the principles of that. Also, I heard you were talking about playing in octaves.
I was. We've been talking octaves. We spent quite a bit of time of that last time, and also just navigating the fretboard using octaves.
May I? And this is something I've done with some private students recently. It's one of those things where, sometimes I like to, I just stop and think about not thinking so much.
Wow. This is going in a different place.
Well, what I mean is sometimes I'll be working on a lesson plan, an idea. I'm trying to flesh it out. What is it I want to teach? A technique, a theory, fretboard. I want to find some real life examples. I want to be able to incorporate the theory behind it. And then sometimes when I'll be halfway through and I realize, wow, I'm taking a lot for granted here. Like in terms of I'm assuming the student knows
a lot of things.
And maybe they don't. Now, they can play.
Yeah.
So that's really not even the idea here is I had an old algebra teacher. Now, he was young at the time, but this was a while ago. That's what I mean by old algebra teacher.
Oh.
The algebra itself was probably old.
But
the teacher
Pythagoras.
was young.
Yeah, right.
That was his name.
Yeah. Pythagoras.
But he once said, it was about an equation, and roughly he said, well, in order to know how to drive a car, you don't have to know how to build one. But when the car breaks down, it really helps. And sometimes I think about music, like why do I need to know this theory? Why do I need to sight read? Why do I need whatever it is? I kind of think of music that way.
Sure.
I've been on many bandstands where, and this is not the singer's fault, by the way. There's an old joke about. How do you know a singer's at the door?
You can hear them coming up, and they're vocal warm-ups.
They don't know the key, and they don't know when to come in.
Oh, there you go.
So something to that effect.
I would figure they didn't have to carry anything.
Well, again, if you're a singer and you've never learned an instrument, right? This is and by the way, the ability to sing is a very specific, special, physical thing to do. It's rare.
It's a physiological thing. More than
so.
It is, yeah.
And so a lot of singers they never picked up an instrument, but they can learn the melody of a song.
Yeah.
They learn the lyrics to the song. They can sing the song. But if the band shifts, if something moves a little bit, they don't know how to they don't know what they're waiting for at that point. It's like someone moved their cheese. Like they're, a lab rat. And
their adaptability is really low.
If you're a singer, and let's say you're about to sing something and you're not going to play an instrument on it, but you can play piano or guitar, or a chordal instrument. Learn the song.
Sure.
Learn the song, learn the chord structure, learn the measures, learn what the verse is vis-a-vis the chorus and how to get in and out. Because if something shifts, if something goes a little sideways, you know what's going on. You don't have to have an instrument in your hand to know what's going on. And at least you can like look at the band and just say, 4 chord, 1, 2, 3. And we all know, okay, we just went to the 4 chord and now we're back on track.
Sure.
But if the singer doesn't know what that is, they don't know how to build the car. Now, back to what I've been talking to a couple of my students about is intervals on the guitar. So not just intervals on the page or in theory. I mean, yes, there is something, but how they exist here, and that's why playing in octaves is part of this.
Sure.
So I would start by just talking about, okay, by the way, I know it's so simple, so fundamental. The guitar, how's the guitar tuned? Again, a student could just pick up if they learn how to tune the guitar. That's a massive accomplishment, by the way.
Yeah, that was tough.
Honestly,
that
just
was
like
tough out of the gate.
Getting a tuner, memorizing the pitches, the names of strings, all that.
Just turning the right tuner on the right string that you're trying to get it. Yeah.
Okay. I have a 10-year-old niece, and she's graduated from ukulele to guitar. And
notice the pronunciation.
And she knows how to tune a ukulele, but tuning the guitar is like the physics of it is, but in terms of like the string names, of like that's a new move.
Yeah.
So we're tuned. It's almost tuned perfectly in fourths, almost.
And we have one major third.
I don't know. Do you know the history? I don't know the answer to why. So from E to A is a fourth. From A to D is a fourth. From D to G is a fourth. From G to B, that's a major third. Then the last 2 strings, B to E, is a fourth again. So one of these string pairs, one of these intervals is kind of like not like the others. In fact, oddly enough, if it were all tuned to fourths, so let's say we have E, A, D, G, then the B string would be tuned to C.
Right.
And the high E string would be tuned to F.
Right.
If that's the case, then I could make my E major chord, if I just played the lower strings, would be this. And an A major chord would look like that. And a D major chord would look like that. It would be the same chord shape across the
minor
strings.
version, yeah.
They look like minors now. Now, anyway, that's just a quirk of the thing. So the point is, let's say if we're just using G as my starting point note, it's arbitrary. Could be anything.
Sure.
And just the minor second.
I see.
Which we all know from the Jaws theme. Point is, you can always find the minor second by playing 1 fret above wherever you are.
Yeah.
A whole step would be 2 frets up, 3 frets up is the minor third. Major third would be this, that's mistress, but you can always use the next string. Now, because we're tuned in thirds, there's a major third. Take it up to the next string. That's also a major third. That's a major third. That's not a major third because of the tuning of the guitar. You got it.
Right.
But then here's another major third. So I'm just, or power chords. There's a perfect fifth right there.
That's a good one too.
Power chords, and then as Dylan was probably talking about a couple weeks ago, the octave. Where do you find them? Well, you've got start with that note, go 2 strings up, and 2 frets up, and you find there's an octave. And you do that on the next string set, and on and on. That's just a couple of the octaves you can find. And I've broken the microphone already.
Was this thing made on a Friday? What is wrong with that microphone?
I don't know. I don't know. I always have a problem with the microphone. What say you, sir? I'm just so intervals on the fretboard, and then but this is kind of why Blackbird is a lovely a piece to play on guitar. Yeah, it sounds lovely, but the interval in that case is a tenth. Meaning your bass note's here, and it's a whole tenth. The next note is a tenth away, and you move up the G major scale. Those notes are going up at the same rate, if you will, up the G major scale,
right,
staying a tenth apart. And then they make this octave leap, but they're still a tenth apart. And it's just got this really lovely, wide open sound.
Yeah.
It's a little clustered if it was...
It's a different vibe. Different vibe.
A little too crowded. So he puts
got more of a beatnik angle you could do with that. You know?
Man. Get some bongos, man.
So what I seem to notice with people learning guitar at any stage is there's the two sides of the brain on this, which is the actual using of something and creating with it and getting to know what it is in like the physical world and how you would use it. And then there's the understanding of it. And students of which we are all students,
of life. Sorry.
Of life to blathe. Sorry. I got it. That's exactly the reference.
Okay, I'm sorry for the but man,
it was a princess. Okay. Yep. Anyway, so now I lost it. No, but basically what I find is understanding both is extremely important. It's very difficult to understand both at the same time without really isolating the context. So if we take just, for example, if you like a sound of any of the stuff that he was just talking about, so let's say you like tenths. If you learn them on the 5th string and the 2nd string, this is the shape of a minor tenth would be 2 on the 5th string and 3 on the 2nd string. And the shape of a major tenth, which is a major third or a minor third plus an octave, is this shape, 2 and 4 on the 2nd string, 2 on the 5th string, 4 on the 2nd string. And then if you work that around the guitar and see how they move, so if you start here and just start moving them and seeing which ones.
Now, the reason what Dylan is doing sounds so lovely is that because he knows this already, but he's saying if you learn how to, those two notes are moving down the same scale at the same rate, which is why that harmony works so well. And obviously it's not Bach. I'm sorry, it's a Pachelbel.
So old we're not even sure though, to be honest with you.
It was just he was the first one that got credit for it. Yeah, good point. So I'm just saying that that's sort of this is where a real classic, really lovely harmony. And by the way, voices can do this.
Sure.
Piano, you do this. Again, this is why this sort of harmony is fundamental in general, but Dylan's specifically on the guitar.
Yeah.
We're a little blessed, in my opinion.
Yeah, because we are shape driven.
We're shape driven. A piano. Some of you may have played piano, and you know, I mean, obviously everything's it's linear, I guess, right? It goes left to right, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, so to play an octave spread, if your hand's wide enough, you can do that, or you just do this, and you can go as wide as you want. It's awesome, but you couldn't do it with just one hand. You need two, and at some point, it gets a little comfortable at the most extreme to use both. On a guitar, think of it just like our E-shaped major chord that we play. We hear 3 notes. We have the same note, but in 3 different octaves. And we're actually covering, I think, a lot of harmonic ground because of the way the guitar is tuned. We have this, not to mention an open string and.
Sort of like the left and right hand of a keyboard in a way.
That would be very, very pianistic in that way. But at least we can do it, you know?
Yeah, so if you take any interval shape and learn how to move it up and down one string set, because if you shift string sets, depending upon which string set, the shape is going to change. So
because of the way the guitar
is made up. So if you start with 6, for example, so like if you have the shape of a G major 6th, and you just learn how to move that around, and you might just start by moving it around first and being able to keep the association the same, even though that's not going to sound like anything. It's going to sound very atonal. But then if you take the minor 6th shape and learn how to move that around atonally and keeping your fingers in the same spots while keeping the same association, that'll take care of the physical part of it. Then if you try to walk it up a major scale, it's going to be on the 1st string. And you keep the 6th shape according with the family of chords. It's just major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor, major.
And notice, back to the fact the way the guitar is tuned, Dylan wasn't able to keep just the same shape going up the scale, right? He had to adjust. It's really either this shape or this shape.
Right.
And you have to know when to switch back and forth. That's just because that's the way the guitar is tuned.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's sort of the fundamental, like, of the Brown Eyed Girl lick is that guitar player who he just comes up with it really kind of on the spot. It wasn't a written thing that Van Morrison had. It just needed somebody to get into the song.
Right.
And he simply relied on fundamental guitar-shaped harmony. He's just going up the G major scale.
Yeah.
And the song goes to C chord. He does a little trick there. He actually plays it up the C major scale. He switches scales technically. Because he plays an F natural here. Then back to G major scale, then D. He doesn't even go that high. I think he just stays there. But you can get away with creating really lovely little licks and little melodies. And I've noticed it sounds really pro. Like, to play a single note melody is obviously a fundamental thing to do on guitar.
Especially play it well.
Play it well. Strong, clear notes, have the phrasing, keep your rhythm. But when you play a harmony, double stops, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
It does give a little, it's like, okay, we got a professional in the room. So that's another element of if you want to elevate your playing a little bit, somewhere in the beginning, or you're probably pushing it, then when you kind of get those 2-note things working, chef's kiss, man. It really sounds, it just adds so much.
And so what my comment about the understanding of something and the ability to do it being sort of not necessarily connected, it is at the most academic level of understanding. So if you were learning out of a book and you really were paying attention, you're in a course, it's going to be you isolate the topic or the subject to just one use case. In this case, like sixths. Okay. And maybe sixth just in that one key. And then you learn how to play the scale in that one key. Then you learn the 6 shapes for the family of chords. And then you move it through. And then you start going to different keys. So if you want to understand it from a intellectual level, it limits your ability to, on the creative side, basically is what I'm saying. You're just sort of trying to connect the physicality of it with the intellectual part. And with students tend to prefer one side or the other, is what I've always noticed. And it's a personality trait.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you kind of learn this about them right out of the gate.
Okay.
Like, so right out of the gate, my experience with like businessmen is they want to intellectually understand things. In fact, they may not even be willing to move on with this poppycock until we understand what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Right? And with most kids, it's totally the opposite. Kids don't want to understand it at all. And stop talking. Because I want to play.
The businessmen have spent their adult lives in data analysis.
Yeah, context means a lot.
Yeah.
And also, understanding is the path towards decision making.
Well, again, they don't want to be in a boardroom meeting and be asked a question,
right,
to which they don't know the answer.
Correct.
So they want to know how the car is built. Back to
it's a control.
Analogy.
What is happening? You want a cameo? You could just come in. You don't have to.
We could call it control.
Thing.
By the way, just I had 2 experiences recently, and one of them will involve. I think it's Greg said he saw me on the New Year's Eve bash playing with Marcus King.
Oh,
Double E.
Yeah. Oh, you should talk about that. You should talk about that.
So we invited Marcus. Marcus had done some show. Marcus had done some shows with us a few months ago. He and his band, and fabulous, got along famously. And so the idea was because we were performing in Nashville, and that's where Marcus spends a lot of time. So we said, well, if you're in town, you should come. You should just jam, play a song with us on TV. So we decided of the 5 or 6 songs we did, Fast As You was the most obvious choice, because it's got this really wide open guitar solo section. We could go as long as we want, because we can fade to commercial.
It's like a 1 chord solo too.
So it's a.
Or is it a 1-4-5?
It's a 1-4-2-5. 1-4-2-4-1. Actually, it has no 5. So and on the record, as some of you may know, most of the solo, it's an unorthodox
slide
solo.
Guitar solo.
No, it's just double bends.
Oh, okay.
And then over the 2 chord. It's just a strange solo. But it's all double
That
stuff.
is a strange solo.
It's strange. It's kooky, man. And credit to Pete Anderson, because he didn't play E minor pentatonic blues licks.
Yeah, because
it's so tempting.
Yeah.
Just show off, man. It's like no.
And he's like, no. This is a weird song. We got weird. I'm gonna let the dog out. Keep going.
a lot of that. So so at first the idea was, oh, well, since it's kind of a 2-string solo anyway, Marcus, you take a string, I take a string. And oddly enough, it sort of just sounded too mannered. So then we got the idea.
You take a string, I take a string?
Well, yeah. Right? He would go, and I would go.
The People's Republic of soloing.
So, and then,
Every solo will be.
and then Dwight said, "Well, Eugene, why don't you take the first phrase and Mark, and just trade the." So for the first solo in the song, we pretty much did that. And then we just doubled up on that high E and we just shook it just to create some chaos. Coming out of it, I think Dwight did want us to figure out some sort of, as he said, Dwayne and Dickie sort of Altman brother thing. And it was funny because there's lines from the record we thought of doing. And in that case, because I'm used to playing all these double stops throughout them. Now all of a sudden I was like, okay, just play one of the notes, which was kind of difficult. Like, because I've got to deconstruct the thing I do night after night, play one of them.
Right.
It turned out it was just a little more.
I don't like that solution.
It was
because come on.
It was a little more nice and chaotic that we just both generally
play on top of each other.
We just played on top of each other. Just
BB King this thing.
Another thing that happened on the bandstand, this is just Saturday night in Long Beach. I was playing with some friends, and they called out on the road again. So my friend Travis Daggett was also on guitar on stage right. So when it came to the solo, I just pointed to him. I was like, "You take it."
Yeah.
And he played it. And I didn't know if the singer was going to just come back in on the bridge after the one-timer, or the record, the solo plays twice with a harmony. And then clearly we were going to go around another time. And so I motioned to Travis, like,
I'll take the harmony.
Meaning I'll take the upper. So again, a thing I've never really done. Maybe we did it on the old Fender show with Chris Masterson, where again, I just got to play one note because I had learned how to. But now I'm just responsible.
So the harmony's not the same the whole time either.
Because of the chord change, you've got to.
Yeah.
It was kind of challenging.
Yeah, I
to
was
just
play
one string.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like singing a harmony in isolation.
Exactly.
It's really similar.
It's like I'm responsible. This whole other melody, which I've never really heard as its own solo melody. It's always just been the upper part to the solo of On the Road Again.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a fun experiment in scaling down. No pun intended.
Yeah. Or anytime when you play a lot of these songs forever, anytime you switch up the formula, it's instantly like it's not about how good can I look, for starters, because you're not going to be perfect. If that was ever even on the menu,
sure.
But also it becomes a bit of a thought exercise now.
Oh God.
And those are good because those are actually where you start to have some meaning in your playing again, and there's some saliency of the experience. Mm-hmm. Like out of that night, what do you even remember when it comes to guitar playing? And it's like the stuff that was novel.
The stuff with Marcus, for sure. Because, by the way, and we were live on television. We were not pre-taped.
Right.
We're live. We're only doing this once. That's it, right? You don't get to so.
I have a comment I want to make.
We're playing over each other. That's kind of the idea. But I've got a close watch on where he is, because I don't want to play exactly what he's doing, but I do want to be somewhere near him.
Sure.
Because I still want it. So. It sort of became its own concept at that point.
Yeah.
And if he was doing a long band, I would try and find another one to do in concert with that, but not necessarily perfect harmony, which is a couple of other, and then just the spacing part of it.
It's a good way to go at this is if you ever try to mimic a singer in the space right between their phrasing.
Oh,
so
great.
if they sing da 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 and you go or whatever it is, like it's a good way to kind of try to figure out how to do this if you're not used to it, but.
That's a great way to learn phrasing, by the way. It's almost like a totally different subject, is listen to singers.
Yeah, and then just copy them.
Because they actually have to breathe.
Yeah.
singers have to breathe.
Right.
So at some point they have to stop singing.
Yeah.
And we all want that in our lead playing. We want that's so.
Well, the audience does it at least. Yeah. We would like to breathe. Mm-hmm. You may not need to.
That's right.
But so I was going to say this about Marcus King.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I like Marcus King so much is the guitar playing and the singing. Also, I really like artists that I perceive to be not wrapped in self-awareness while they're playing.
Oh, of course.
And so, and what does this mean? What am I saying? I'm saying that artists who are just not overly self-aware, actors that aren't so overly self-aware, mm-hmm. it's almost like the chief component that makes someone perfect for stage is their lack of self-awareness in mm-hmm. a weird way. And that just means that they sort of just let go, and cathartically you get to experience it without this meta filter of thinking about what you're doing while you're doing it all.
Yeah.
Does this make any sense?
Yes. I think
those are my favorite artists.
Yes. I want to say, so this is a tricky one too.
It is. I know. It's dangerous.
Because we want, okay, so we do want our performers to execute the thing well.
Yes.
At the same time, we do want to feel their vulnerability.
Yeah.
We even an actor that's doing the same role 8 times a week.
Yeah.
Every time that actor during that performance, if they're doing it properly, I don't know the field that well, but the idea is that they've learned the text so well, they've learned the relationships so well, all the things that by the time it comes to the stage lights come up, all that's just gone and forgotten. Right. It's been internalized.
Sure.
And now you can just be hopefully as raw emotionally as you can with all those tools you spent all that time putting into you, the rehearsals. And when I say raw, I don't mean
bad,
crying,
right,
screaming, histrionic. Even if being stoic and very silent and still is honest to the moment, that's also very
These are
vulnerable.
Like intimations. These are felt on an animalistic level. Yeah. I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, and again, that's also maybe some of our favorite performers do that. I'm just thinking of like early 70s Who concerts where it is, you feel the violence, you feel the competition, you feel the anger, you feel their vulnerability. You feel like you just see the chaos and it's just so dynamic.
I think the period of analog
mm-hmm.
precipitated this type of performance greatly in comparison to the digital age. Digital age, non-destructive editing means you can do it as much as you want, sure. which means this, like the fallacy of perfection is on the table. Whereas analog meant, look, we got to just hit this on tape and then.
I said something. I'm sorry to interrupt. I hear you. I hear you. In fact, I'm going to prompt you on something here on that note that I don't think we've ever discussed on one of the shows, but it's worth mentioning. But before, again, it was Nashville, and there was a lot of other acts playing that we could see on the TV feed and what have you. And question for you: what song is this? Just magically.
I'm a little scared. I don't remember that.
Every one of them, apparently. Somebody, someone on another stage, we were just watching the TV feed, and I leaned over to one of the managers.
This was the last song.
Well, I just thought I just said, this is the least nuanced and subtle music I've ever heard in my entire life. It really was. It was like so. They just had no the drums had no grace notes.
Yeah,
and we've heard the progression a billion times.
Yeah,
and the melody was it was just kind of this. I was like, this is just where we are, and this is the genre currently that is the most authentic in terms of
We're talking about country music right now. Yeah.
But to me, I was like, well, it just feels very quantized, and it sounds like there's no risk being taken. My point is, I don't mind digital music or digital recording as long as I can still hear some risk.
Yeah, it's not the format itself.
That's what. Now,
it's the delimitizing aspect of it.
A bit of a history thing, because I don't know if people know the background on this, and Dylan has in his various studies. We talk about musique concrète, that movement.
Musique concrète.
And but just for the historical basis of how we got to a lot of electronics in our music, really starting in the 70s, Kraftwerk, Donna Summer, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then eventually the Africa, like Mambata, and it gets into hip hop and yada yada. And now it's
sampling and yeah.
But before all that, Germany.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, as you all know, which is why you're addicted to the History Channel, the entire world that we live in was shaped by World War II and largely its end, really, but also the rapid escalation in technology, industrialization, and orderliness that came out of it. And so the kids of Europe, even more so than America, because the kids of America weren't nearly as affected by this.
We weren't in the theater.
Not as directly, indirectly. They wanted nothing to do with anything that was even remotely associated with World War II by the end of the war. Mm-hmm. And these were kids that were kids during the war, teenagers and young adults post-war.
Right.
And so they don't want classical music. They want nothing to do with it. They don't want anything to do with anything even adjacent to classical. They want sounds that are literally out of this world. And so how do you do that, right? And initially, the way they started doing that was in Darmstadt, Germany, was through telephone test equipment. So fundamental tone, which is just a tone with no harmonics at all. It's actually a very piercing sound.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
You attach it to a keyboard eventually. That's not even what happened initially, but eventually you get each tone on a keyboard to represent a fundamental telephone test equipment piece of equipment. And they were lined up, and they had 8 of them in a row on the first prototypes. And then in France, with the musique concrète, it was Foley sound, which is the sound of recording trains and different horses walking by and conversations, and then creating some sort of mosaic out of those, right?
Which is a composition, by the way.
It is.
You're taking pre-existing pieces of sound and you're putting them together to make a new thing. That's a composition.
And so these two worlds collide, and you basically have soundscape, or the world of like the way sound behaves, and you have the most fundamental parts of sound itself.
This is electronic pulse.
The most orderly thing that physics can give you about sound. And they collide to create electronic music, largely in Germany initially, the epicenter of the war, and largely in Berlin, that was behind the Iron Curtain. So, and that becomes a bunch of electronic music post World War II, and eventually forms what we know as music now entirely.
Yeah, also one of the nuances here is that some classical music, particularly in Germany during the war, was used to emotionally manipulate people towards the cause.
I mean, Goebbels was conducting the orchestras.
And this is another reaction, a response to a rejection of that.
Yeah.
Was to make music that had no emotional manipulation. And this is kind of one of the start of groups like Kraftwerk.
Yes.
And it was robotic.
It's also the start of androgynism in music, too.
And androgyny.
Yeah.
So look at performances by Kraftwerk. They make themselves look like they're mannequins.
You're not
even sure they're real people, and the music is very drony and simple. That's not out of laziness. This is a very, very high concept idea. And then by the mid '70s, Giorgio Moroder with the first Donna Summer couple singles, where that's where we start to get the hybrid starts to overcorrect, where she is making very erotic sounds vocally over this machine music at the same time.
Right.
And so that's when the hybrid gets very, very compelling. All this is to say, risks were taken. And
they were resistance against the norm. They were pushing against order, by the way, if you really think about it. Yeah. And what's the coefficient between the music you were talking about and that? Overly orderly.
It's just when it just gets so mannered, it just has. I don't feel it personally.
And for those of you that have a DAW at home, whether it be Logic or so, this started with like we're worried about AI music. This has been going on we've had AI music for a long time, right? So if you play drums in, right? So I go play drums in, and I messed up there. It's not exactly identical the whole way through. The time moves. We put it on a grid. We use Beat Detective, and now every single hit is the same. In fact, let's do some drum replacement. Let's replace some of these drums with the perfect sounding snare.
And I don't know why though. I don't know like what's the. I feel like I talk to people about this, but I never get a satisfying answer. Like, to what end? Why do I want my record to have this one non-distracting snare thing that's a little off? Who would notice? Now, there are some details though that they can just if it distracts from the lyric, if it's not, I can understand that. But for the most part, most of our idols, there's flaws on their record. There's flaws in their live performances.
We always talk about faces when we're talking about this.
Oh, well, no, that's.
It's like I can hear
the faces and the replacements.
I hear
like
bottles
opening
really, during faces.
It's the best. It's the
best. But if
you want to be in the room with these guys,
I mean, if you like Ron Wood, if you like Rod Stewart, it's like kind of their best stuff, in my opinion. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So. In fact, I did a session for a friend on Friday, and he was doing most of his stuff in Logic. So there was he has a drum loop going. He's going to replace it with real drums.
Sure.
But for now, he's just trying to get friends in, and so I was just playing an acoustic track. He says this
is when you texted me the other day. Last night. It was last night. Yeah.
No. This is something else.
Oh, okay.
And it was funny, and he's got one of the guys from the Beach Boys playing a whirly on it, and he's just kind of getting friends to play parts. Fine. And we discussed a lot about like he put everything in Logic using samples and loops and plugins, and he's slowly trying to replace all that.
Right.
Well, just because he's in his apartment, it's just a small project.
Sure.
So he's got to work in reverse. It's just kind of a necessity thing. Yeah. And to me, I thought, well, at least he did write and arrange the song.
Sure.
It's there.
Now, short of putting it on sheet music and doing it, it's a way to do it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought, but it's funny because I think obviously he's wildly tempted to use some AI since it's already in an arrange field in Logic. I mean, it's just, but I said, well, then don't call us.
Well, then
don't call. And I pointed to the Beach Boys piano player. I was like, well, don't call us over to your place if you're going to do any of that.
Well, also, okay.
You've got us.
AI is derivative, right?
Very important. Yes.
AI is derivative.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys piano player is derivative, but he's derivative of himself.
Correct.
And so I can have a derivative of the cosmic whole, or I can have a derivative of the individual.
I'm sorry. I'm listening to you. Correct, John. If it's quantized, yes, you can copy and paste elements from one part of the song to another because it's going to land in the grid. And and the idea is we would never know.
This is a great advantage of it, right? But what does that mean? It means like
it may not have any meaning. Yeah, you're right. But and also to answer one of John's early questions, is it easier to fret what you normally would, but mute one of the strings? I was tempted to do that, but at that point, he's talking about that double lead thing.
Oh yeah. I think it would be harder. Actually,
my fear is that I feared like I'd rather just have full control of one string, and when we do bends, by the way. Teaching bends. Say I'm bending the B string from 10th fret up a whole step. Now I'm using my ring finger at the 10th fret on the B, but my middle and my index finger are also holding that B. All three fingers are doing the push up towards the ceiling. This gives me maximum control of the string. So the ring finger kind of gets the credit for the bend, if you will, but he's not doing it alone. That's how I can control the vibrato and control how slow or fast I want to come out back to original pitch. So for that reason, I would rather... I'd rather just play the one string than, see, I'm tempted. It just feels
it'd
awkward
be harder
to
deaden one string.
Yeah, it's actually,
like that's actually harder.
Yes, Kraftwerk, the German electronic band. That is who we're speaking of.
So Yeah, so Kraftwerk, and there was a famous composer, classical composer, Stockhausen, and there was Orange something. I can't remember the name of it.
Tangerine Dream.
Orange, yes, there we go.
But in McCartney in the '60s, he was starting getting into Stockhausen, and he was
I said Orange something. You got it still.
But in the '60s, they were also doing where they were taking sound recordings, tape, and we cut them up, splice it, and then based on William Burroughs' cut up literature or style of writing, and the Beatles, and we would hear that on Tomorrow Never Knows and Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. So you have this wild, like the biggest, it's the most popular group in all the land.
Yeah, and they're using samples.
This very avant-garde moment.
Yeah.
But the early sampling, that's analog sampling. So,
yeah, and if you go back and listen to that classical works, and it is considered like classical works.
You would sit in a recital hall and listen to
you're going to be like, whoa, this is kind of radical. That's postmodernism, though.
Well, and then John Cage's famous, is it 3:36?
Yeah, 3:36.
3 minutes, 36 seconds of pure silence. Yeah. So this is sheet music, and I don't know how many people were on stage, but they don't play anything at all.
Yeah.
Now, the concept here was that, and everyone think, well, okay, so it's 3 minutes and 36 seconds of silence. That's the assumption. But his point was, no, if you have an audience and musicians on stage,
it's not silent.
It won't be silent for 3 minutes. There'll be a cough. I think you had to turn pages too at some point, so you'd hear that.
It's sort of a mindfulness thing of the day.
Very.
This is in the late 60s.
Yeah. It was mid 60s actually.
Yeah.
Again, so people were pushing those boundaries and using concepts of music to ask larger questions.
And that's postmodernism, actually, too. Yeah. This era is postmodernism. Anything post-World War II is postmodernism. And so it was basically like, hey, what's left?
Where do we go from here?
Well, how about you play nothing? And
And so I guess that's the question we can ask ourselves now. And Sans AI, it was just like, what's left? I still hear new songs by rock people, country people, blues, where I'm like, oh my God, that's great. And there would be a little something about it I hadn't quite heard before, or a combination of two disparate things I never really heard put together.
It's actually almost a bigger conversation in a sense to me, because I think it has to do with the concept of individualism as a whole being lost in Western society.
Lenny Bro.
Oh, yeah, exactly. There we go.
Yeah, great. Beautiful stuff. Wow, what a great tone. Wow.
Yeah, and so like individualism and its constructs are the indelible human spirit as it's known, and that's the basis of the Enlightenment and everything post-Enlightenment. And so these times where we get too orderly in society are some of the darkest times. They tend to be.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying we're there now.
And then something organically.
Exactly.
It always just swings back to the middle.
Believe it or not, the kids that I work with at the colleges, guess what all of them are buying? And these are colleges in LA, so it's not going to be everywhere yet, but it'll finger its way out. At
buying vinyl?
They're buying. Well, they were buying vinyl. Now they're buying reel-to-reels. Now they're recording on reel-to-reels.
Oh my!
And posting it on Instagram. I mean,
well, it does look.
There's
cool.
layers.
It looks cool.
There's layers to this.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. So they're buying tech reel-to-reels. They're having to go find 1/4-inch tape, and I'm like,
that was my
skip
next
the 1/4-inch tape. It sounds like shit. But that's what I had when I was a kid too.
Oh, but and when they learn how to overload the.
Dude, it's hilarious.
And get that distortion.
I'm waiting for Beta to show up.
It's really good technology.
Yeah, I should have won.
Beta was.
It's the
I mean,
Tesla
it was a little better. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Beta was good. It was very good. It's why 48K is the video standard.
The Marvin Hagler of.
It's why 48K is the video standard. We just left Beta.
My Marvin Hagler reference.
Yeah, the kids are looking for scarcity because value is scarce. So that all goes back to the Marcus King thing, which is like. The reason why I love artists who are less self-aware.
Yes, like what she has in Pulp Fiction. Exactly
like that, Jim. Yeah, exactly like that. Because if you have to put on a vinyl and listen to a song, there's a fair amount of ritual to this.
Of course,
and it becomes harder to do 5 other things while you're doing it, and the doing itself becomes better. The same thing is true of learning 6th on the guitar. It's like, how many people are going to stop and just kind of hear the sound of 6th and think about the capacity for them, or maybe even try to write a ditty with them? Or is it all objective driven the whole time? Do you want to see an outcome as part of it, or can you weigh both?
Maybe weigh, but I think in general, when we teach individually, when you teach at the school, kind of the ethos of Fender Play those days was both.
Was both.
Yeah. Was here's the idea, here's the theory, here's technique, and here's some songs.
Here's the application.
Here's the application. Yeah. So, and I think that's how you kind of keep people engaged. The process.
Right.
I think we're saying some students just love the process. Others just like, I just want to play some tunes, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you just teach me some tunes?
And I think I just want to play some tunes is the best outcomes that I hear out of people. I want to know the process is academic in many respects.
It's just, again, I did 2 nights down in Long Beach with some friends, and it's a covers gig. And we do a couple of Billy Joel songs where I had a pick. I figured out, by the way, yes, that's one of them, by the way. And oddly enough, I'd been struggling the You May Be Right, which I thought, obviously it's a piano melody because it's awkward on good. I was trying to.
Is it in?
It's an A.
Okay.
It's like, then I finally realized if you just do.
That's where I used to play it. And that's over the 4 chord.
So much easier.
It's like.
No, it's in.
Or he's outlining the 4 chord.
Well, yeah, he's outlining the 4 sus, which is really hip. But in that song, it's like a rocker in A, and then it starts to.
Son and I.
To the 5. But here's a real cool. Then B minor. G. E. Back to A. Hold it. I'm going to make that sound pretty familiar to you. So it's like he took the B minor, G, E major move from Help by the Beatles, but he's disguised because the groove is different and the way he plays. But it's like, that's how I remember what happens there in You May Be Right. It's just a really, really hit move in his verse. And so he could have written a 1-4-5 rocker in A.
Right. And some of his songs are
got the vibe across.
Exactly, yeah.
But there's this little movement that just makes it kind of like more melodic than just like a dumb rocker. The other song we do is It's My Life.
Wow.
Which is, that's 1-4-5.
That's a singer-alonger.
Here comes the bridge. And my friend Brian, we sing the back as well. This was a.
You can hear the should be obvious.
Then back to D major. So again, his bridge just has this really beautiful melodic movement, and this subdominant move, and it's catchy.
Yeah,
sold billions.
He did well.
He did very well. So it wasn't obscure songwriting for obscurity's sake. No one would ever accuse Billy Joel of being obscure, for God's sakes.
No.
And in the recording, by the way, in the fade out, his drummer Liberty DeVito pulls out this really kind of tricky fill, and you hear Billy off mic say "show off."
Oh, he says "show,"
and they think they're going to be faded by then, but it's really on the record. And I don't know if they can call it a flaw, but it's something that who'd program that?
It's cool that it's a live recording, though.
Oh, they're playing.
Yeah, I know. That's yeah.
By the way, they got to cut this thing.
Oh, guess by the way, a live recording now is not a live recording. I just want to make sure we all know that. Think of Kiss Alive 3. We're way along those lines now.
Yeah, that's mostly Steve Lukather.
It is.
Kiss Alive 2 is mostly Steve Lukather.
Yeah, it's not. It's
not Ace. Yeah,
it's like, dude.
Yeah, they fixed the last.
Rest his soul, by the way.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Ace.
Well, I always said Freely, and everyone when he died, everyone was saying Freely. I was saying it wrong for 50 years.
Freely?
That's what everyone was saying.
That's a cruel joke.
Ace Frehley died. I was like,
Freely. It's definitely Freely. It's been Freely.
To me, it was. So we got to. It's a lot.
I think the kids watched
man.
the Lick It Up video and they're disturbed by it, and we all were.
Again, not the most subtle music.
Yeah.
So any hoozles, is this what we know? What office hours are like?
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
Yeah, they're just sort of like laid back. Like there's some tie stick involved, and we just chill. Yeah. We're chilling.
I thought I had another guitar, another thing that happened that I want to discuss, and now I've already forgotten it.
Oh,
no idea.
Well, wait a minute. So,
I did have one
I just
thing.
want to button up the Marcus King thing, if we can.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So, yeah, something about probably being discovered I think he was discovered via the Norms video, right?
Oh, I don't.
That's actually
know.
how he got famous, dude.
Oh, good for him.
He went viral because of a Norms guitar.
Okay.
A visit to Norms guitar, where he played guitar and sang, and then that went viral. I guess partially because he's
awesome.
Yeah, and so there's some like kind of some authenticity that's just inherent to that situation that you can't.
He's from South Carolina. His father was a player. His favorite guitar is a 62 335, which he travels with that. He just got a blonde 59, which is the first year those came out.
Yeah.
So he's got a pretty collection. I don't know if I'm going to publicly tell. I told.
Yeah, we'll let
Dylan
him tell
off.
that. We'll let him say.
Area, but you'll hear about one of Marcus's acquisitions out there in the world soon. But I got to see it and it was awesome. And just a lovely guy, and a guy. Now we're talking about a guy. We talk about musicians with big ears. We none of us were worried about Marcus King sitting in with us on live television. It's like we're rocking out as fast as you and E. He's gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Actually, I mean, there's no there are no nerves involved. It's just like awesome. We've got Marcus. Like it's just like he's gonna be great. And when you listen to his material, you will hear. And by the way, when Marcus, if you have seen Marcus and his band play, or if you go see them, you'll notice something. There's just no. It's very organic.
Yeah.
Those they use lots of tube amplifiers. That's a real B3 going through a real Leslie cabinet that's really spinning around. They're playing. There's no auto tune on their voices. They are playing hard, they play loud, they're for real. And his songs hearken to that, yes, the Southern rock thing for sure. Also, he plays his newer songs, 6-string acoustic, fingerstyle stuff, great technique, beautiful songs.
Right.
Clearly a young guy he's just younger than me, so I say young guy, who has internalized so much of rock, country, soul, and blues history.
Well, and you can't fall back on any technology. And what does that also do? And this is the part of music that has allowed the music part of music to sort of decay, the spectacle of concerts. And this is also a World War II thing. So World War II, prior to World War II, find me a PA that's larger than some megaphone. Because it doesn't exist. Right. And why is that? In fact, find me a performance that's on a stage above you prior to World War II. Mm-hmm. They don't exist.
Yeah.
And why is that?
In fact,
because who's the first people to ever do that? The Nazis.
Yeah, because going back to old Greek theater, usually
you're always pointed down because sound travels up, by the way.
Since sound travels up, and before microphones and speakers, it behooved you had the audience would sit kind of on a raked.
So what do you have to do to give a speech to 200,000 people at the Reichstag?
Watch the arm.
Oh, it was Roman. It was a Roman. Just
sure, Elon.
No, but what do you have to do? You have to have a PA, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to have a bigger, better PA that can transmit, and it's got to be so much of the spectacle that's allowable by technology. It's all derived from this, and it's comported into the arts over time.
Well, and then big concerts, you go to the stadium, the arena,
yes,
yes, the Gigantodome,
where it costs $40 to park.
By the way, it's like going to see the doctor. The audience or the patient has to go through such a series of doors and gates and levels and interviews and being inspected and fill this form. Listen to me. Right, and then like at the very end, like when you go to the doctor, like, and when you
No, I didn't bring my passport.
After all that, you see the doctor for like 5 minutes,
and he's like, "We have pills."
And by the way, he's the hardest one to finally get to.
Yeah,
and you see all the degrees, right? Like, you know, his bona fides are like
they're there.
It's like visiting the Wizard of Oz.
It is. It's like
kind of the same thing going to a concert, but we want this.
Yeah.
We want. Okay, here's the story.
Levels of hierarchy.
Here's the story.
Oh, the pick. He had to set the pick down.
But then I realized it's gray on gray, and I'll lose it.
Okay.
Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller tells this story.
Not of the Gillette family of the.
No relation. Okay. Penn was friends with Lou Reed, and early '90s, I guess, when Guns N' Roses. It was in that period of Guns N' Roses' massive success where now Axl's showing up 6 hours late or something crazy. And remember, riots would be happening at these concerts. It was like, you know, opening acts have already played everything they can, and the rest of the band's already there, but there's one guy missing. It's Axl Rose.
Wow. Yeah.
So they were watching MTV News, and Kurt Loder probably, you know, kind of reporting and showing this footage. And Penn gets very righteous about this.
Yeah.
As a professional, he's like, you know, this Axl Rose, and he's cursing up a storm and calling Axl names and it being non-professional and disrespectful, and you can imagine the rant. And Lou Reed doesn't get it from a seat; he's just looking at Penn doing this.
He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
And Penn Jillette says he should do his job, and Lou Reed said,
"That's his job.
He's doing his job."
Yeah.
His fans don't want him to show up right on time like a banker. They want to imagine him in a hot tub back in the suite with models.
They want a riot. They want disorder.
And that's a pretty interesting take.
I mean, it's an extreme take, but it's...
No. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Yeah, lights, camera, action, all that stuff. But we go for that. We go for that. But it can't be abused. You got to show up. You know, I think I saw Morrissey has already announced some of his cancellations of 2026, and that's not an Onion headline. It's true. He's already announced some of his cancellations.
Jeez,
this year.
What happened? Oh boy, it's probably, you know what? It's probably gluten intolerance.
It's Patreon.
It's gluten.
I'll tell the story.
Oh,
I know he was on his way to the venue once because I know the person who was driving him from hotel to venue, late afternoon, probably early evening, whatever, and his name was misspelled on the marquee, and he just saw it. He said, "Turn around," and he was not going to enter that venue unless they got that right.
Turn it around.
Turn it around.
Turn it around.
Yeah. So, and I think sometimes so for Morrissey fans, and he has diehards, you got to be used to this by now. And so when you buy a Morrissey ticket, there's just kind of like, I don't know. And then if he does show and give a full show, it's like winning the golden ticket.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Morrissey's made it rare. What did you say?
Yeah.
Scarcity creates value.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, well, so when you think about music and where music is headed, we're probably at the peak of the orderliness. And can it go further? Yeah, it can be a blow off top, if you will, with such AI inclusion, slop AI music that we.
A couple weeks ago, one more story. So, you know, I host a night of music once a month here in LA, and the last club where we did it, it didn't end well. It didn't end well, but I knew we were going to try and find another
6 hours
place.
late.
Oddly,
4.5.
Oddly, we were playing. We'd been playing for hours. The place is packed. People are dancing everywhere. Place is rocking. The club. The night before,
that was unacceptable.
The night before, they said, "Hey, we want you to be done at midnight so we can switch to our own DJ and have some Coyote Ugly dancers or something going on." So, well, I don't know when we're going to be done. We never had to end at a certain time, and now it's 24 hours notice, and I just don't know when we're going to be done. And I thought, what are they going to do? If the place is dead at 11:30, we'll get out of your way. Nothing to prove. But the night's going incredibly well. And we're playing, and then the promoter gives me a look that lets me know, like, I think we're in the red zone probably.
Think we're alone now.
But I got people everywhere dancing. So we just kept playing. And then they cut the power of the stage and put on Buck Cherry.
Cut the power. That's a nuclear option, by the way.
I went to sing the first line of the next song, and they just shut us off. So I got booted for doing too well because I did show up and do my job.
Yeah.
I somehow got kicked out. So we're looking for a new place, and there's a place in East LA called the Paramount Ballroom, an old ballroom that they've restored, and it's wonderful. But I got a walkthrough of the place.
What's it sound like?
Well, so I got a walkthrough of the place, and it was closed. It was a Tuesday night. It was empty, and it looks great. Great stage, has a backline, lights.
Yeah.
I said, but I would like to hear
live
music here before I commit to this. And the manager said, well, we'll have bands playing here this Friday. If you want to come down, I'll put your name at the door. I said, awesome. So I do. I come down. It was interesting because it was 4 bands. I caught the last 2. Very young musicians. The first band I saw was like a 5-piece post-Zappa noise rock.
Holy crap.
Fusion punk.
Wow.
Math rock. Multi-hyphenate. Just... after the second song, the guitar player found
a product of divorce,
to
people.
put on a very specific, creepy-looking mask, and it never came off.
Wow!
The rest of the thing. I'll tell you something though. I could not make sense of this music,
dude,
and it was tight as hell.
I was gonna say, I bet they were really good. I bet they were exceptional.
It was random, yet nothing was out of place at the same time.
I heard order.
These guys were so well rehearsed, and now I had to kind of step outside because it was like I kind of couldn't take it. The sound was awesome.
Oh, really?
The sound was great.
Okay.
Then the next band came on. Oh, gosh, I want to remember their name. I don't want to give the wrong name.
Is this a concert type thing?
So that's the thing. It's I think on weekends they do. It's like a 400-seater concert with no seats. It's got an
Is
open
this like
floor.
Nowhere or somebody like that, or Nowhere, that band?
No. So
the math rock one is the one I was talking about.
No, that didn't sound familiar. So, and then the next band comes, the last band of the night, and they come out. It's like 5 or 6 kind of like little, kind of schlubby, kind of like high school Latino kids, just like hair and kind of.
Dude, they're gonna punk rock.
Hair in their faces and baggy clothes, but they're guitars, bass, no brand name instruments whatsoever.
Dude,
the house kit was a brand, but like guitars and like a 3/4 bass, I couldn't make out
brand
what it
name
was.
instrument. Crazy.
And this female singer, she comes out. She's young and she's kind of sheepish. All of them were. They just kind of, and then they devastated me. Devastated me. It was like the 70s kind of slow jam, East LA kind of thing, groove wise. She sings in this high ethereal voice, kind of like Harriet Wheeler from the Sundays. Anybody remember the Sunday?
God.
So she's doing that across this like El Chicano War, Suavecito Stami. All major 7th, minor 7th. And I would say it was cute. I would.
If it wasn't
if
so
it wasn't for
damn
the fact
good.
that the bass guitar player wasn't taking freaking names. This bass player was just like, how did he get to that chord that way? I mean, I was like, there's a jazz program somewhere here, right? They might be Cal State LA kids. I don't know.
It's, the
all
internet
original
now, man.
songs. In fact, they actually repeated a song at the end because they were just kind of out of tunes.
Right.
Like they just ran out and was like, we're going to do another one. And the audience, they were wonderful. And no sampling. Keyboard, kind of like a Rhodes sound keyboard.
Yeah. No instruments with brand names.
Just playing tunes, man. And they knew what their sound was. They knew how to make it. Spinal Tap with my daughter was incredible. Thank you for asking, John. She caught all the jokes. That's funny you mentioned because it was the Friday I think, or no, it was the Saturday after. It was the day after Thanksgiving, I believe. We went and saw it, and she loved it. She loved it. The where they get lost under the stage. She just was belly laughs, and I'm thinking, and of course I said, "Me, how that really happens."
That's a real possibility.
And I told her, haven't you noticed? She doesn't come to a lot of my shows, the Dwight shows, but she's been to several. So notice, even if our dressing room is 5 feet from the stage, there's a neon colored piece of tape.
Here's how to get to this thing
in an arrow form, so we can't mess it up.
Because it's dark and there's curtains, man.
And by the way, the band, sometimes we just arrived in this building 5 minutes before we went to drag and someone gave us a guitar. We haven't been there all day, so we really don't know where anything is. funny thing is, after we were walking back to the car, and next door to the movie theater, there's an album shop, a vinyl album shop, and they stayed open late, which was smart. So I took her.
Where was this?
This is in Eagle Rock.
Oh.
And I took her into the store. We went to the heavy metal section, and they had
this is fine.
The Scorpion. Oh. No, the Scorpions album at the time. That one. The Quiet Riot.
Come On, Feel the Noise album? Or the
one before that. Point is where the guy's strapped to the table.
I
and I said,
one.
well, see, because he's the victim.
Yeah.
He's the victim.
He's the victim.
So she's looking at, and I said, now, Mija, these are not
Go
parodies.
show her a Dio album.
These are not parodies. These are the real albums from 1982 and 83 and 84.
Those are the real ones.
This is and
those are ones your parents throw away.
And so she looks at me and she said, it's a fine line.
It's a fine
line. And then, of course, it seems like, only a week later, the director's gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. She it was the first time she'd seen Rob Reiner. She'd never seen All in the Family.
I met Rob Reiner once, yeah. Is it the Magic Castle, by the way? How random that is, but yeah. I went to watch a friend perform, and he was there, and I did the thing you're not supposed to do. I introduced myself, because it's freaking Rob Reiner, dude.
I think he was a great guy.
And by the way, it wasn't that many people or anything like that. So.
Yeah. But so now there's a bittersweet thing to the experience of her first time seeing Spinal Tap, and that she just kind of got an idea who directed Princess Bride and Stand By Me and all these movies she has seen. And she goes, "Oh, that's the guy." I said, "That's the guy."
That's the guy.
A week later, the guy's gone. But thank you for asking. And anyway, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
We did the thing. My chord change and melody of a song that I was just kind of taking a look at recently.
Sarah Smiles.
Oh no, that'll be next. Same era, actually. Very, very close. Boz Scaggs, We're All Alone, which was a massive hit for Rita Coolidge, but it's a Boz Scaggs song. It was the flip side to Lido Shuffle, he does it in G. In fact, I think Rita does it in his key. It's way up there. I'm going to move it to E for this one. But in the chorus, this is a song which actually has very, very common changes. These are classic pop moves here. But then there's this little tweak or a little readjustment, and that's how we get really cool stuff. So it starts with an E. I'm going to do it in E. So close the window, got another light, and then it does this sub-dominant move before the 6 minor. Then the dominant 1 chord, which is a perfect way to get to the 4 chord. It's all over now. Let it all begin. It's easy now. We're all alone.
That's The Way You Look Tonight.
All alone. It's from Gershwin's The Way You Look Tonight.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice The Greatest Love of All somewhere in there too?
The greatest love. I got a voice. Of all. Teach the children how to. Sorry.
And then this A major over B.
That is the 80s as a chord.
Well, I think the 70s really.
Okay, the 70s.
Stevie Wonder,
part of the 80s.
Donny Hathaway. Even Cruel to Be Kind uses it.
Speaking of that, I've been watching Matlock on the plane and elsewhere. It's on Richie Kotzen cover of. God, I did not see that.
I'll look
at that. That's a mashup.
I'm okay. Checking it out soon, though. Matlock.
Yeah, man, the music for all these 80s shows is amazing.
They were still big charts.
It was amazing.
By the way, so it's funny you mentioned. Again, our New Year's Eve thing was on CBS television, the Nashville Big Bash live.
I had to go and find it online because I didn't know where to find it.
Some people just don't have broadcast.
I didn't have a television.
Don't have CBS. Yeah. So there's a main stage at Bicentennial Park in Nashville. That's where Laney and Party was there, and Bert Kreischer was hosting, and so they're all there. We were at a club called Category 10. It's been there forever. I think Luke Combs owns it now, but really great venue. And so they would throw to us for a song and then come back, and they were popping. And the other performances were pre-taped, some in clubs and stuff. So they're kind of making. We did Guitarist Cadillacs. And then the second song we were going to do, like an hour later, was Honky Tonk Man. And we're on stage in front of the live audience. We're ready to go. We got our instruments. And the stage manager does a hold up, and he's getting something in his ear. And we're like, what's going on? And it turns out the main stage at Bicentennial Park lost all power. Lost all power.
Oh, snap.
So then we're thinking, well, we're here. We have power. Can't we just play?
Yeah.
And while they're fixing that? No, the ability to uplink anything.
We don't have that kind of technology.
What's the point of having multiple venues
if you can't flip to one of them?
Because when it's live, bad things can happen, and now you have an alternative.
Walk the camera over here.
I wasn't in those meetings, but we were all just like, oh boy. So point is, so CBS, I took them a better, 20 minutes. I don't know how long the delay before they got it, but started playing commercials. Then they just started rolling an episode of Matlock.
Of Matlock? What are the chances?
I don't know, but you said Matlock. This is what I understand. I wasn't watching, but that's what I was told. It's like they're just ran some Matlock.
Hey, listen.
It could have been worse. Yeah, it wasn't Beretta.
But the music was great.
But the music was great.
Live at the Baked Potato. Okay. You know what, John, if you ever come to LA, you got to go to the Baked Potato because it looks like a log cabin covered in skater stickers.
You're right.
That's basically what it is.
When you're there, you really like, this is it, huh?
This is what it is, huh? Wow.
But by the way, now Richie with Sarah Smile, it does make sense. If I give it 3 minutes, no, just think of the chord changes. Think of the changes and how you can melodically. That's so much more interesting to play over as a musician and a singer, frankly, than other stuff.
It is.
It's the minor seventh chords, nice and open. The groove.
No, that's not it. And it's I wanna be free.
Great phrases playing. That's good.
And then I don't remember the chords. Anyways, you get that.
My Boss Skag moment, but the Way You Look Tonight move, I just love this. He goes from the 4 to the 1 chord with 3 in the bass, and then this minor 3, flat 3 diminished, to the 2 minor, which
it's an approach chord,
kind of like it's like My Sweet. It's the Ink Spots, Friend in Low Places, My Sweet Lord move in reverse.
Yeah, right.
Where you go from the 1 chord, but he's coming. But he makes it a downward motion,
and that's a replacement for a 5 chord. Because it's a tritone sub. Basically.
By the way, it should be noted he had I can never pronounce his last name. Danny, the keyboardist from Toto. Page.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that how it's pronounced? Page. P-A-I-C-H-E. I never know how to pronounce this.
Page.
Something like that.
All right.
But he helps with Lido show. But he's around. I mean, it's Jeff Porcaro. It's a 19-year-old Jeff Porcaro on that album. But he's Boz is kind of guy. There's help to kind of figure out how to massage these moves. It's good. Jazz background for those of you. Some of you may not want to study jazz or even play it. Or
I don't blame you. It's fine. You get paid less per chord.
Having that knowledge, those chops, that discipline, because vast majority of are highly regarded studio musicians, the Wrecking Crew people.
They're jazzers.
The Nashville A-team starting in the 50s and the A-team currently now that's on that stuff, they're jazzers. It's better to have it and not need it than the other way around.
Yeah.
But you just learn so much discipline in that form. And again, you could always make a part just a little more interesting, or just a little tweak here and there.
Yeah.
Doesn't transfer like a Reba McEntire song completely into jazz, but there might just be one little move.
Yeah.
In a fill that just gooses it up a
lot of times it's a truncation of jazz movements.
So it's the Motown stuff is a really good example of that.
It's basically like you take what's the amount of harmonic movement that's in a jazz standard and you truncate it. You make it less complicated. And I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Miami Vice, Jan Hammer.
And I'm going to make you guys I'm going to raise you. It's actually the late 50s, early 60s composers like the ones on the Andy Griffith Show, which is part of the reason I love the music.
Some of them became, John Williams, most famously, because he became massive film composers, like the biggest of all. And Henry Mancini.
I was about to say, Henry Mancini
They had to write so fast.
Man.
In those arrangements.
But this stuff is Dick Grove School of Music level writing. So and we should grab some audio from bumper scenes on some of these shows and just go through and talk about them.
Thank you very much, Sean. We felt great doing that performance.
I just thought it was cool.
Credit to CBS and all the people involved.
Yeah, good for them for not just doing some stupid
We were allowed
crap.
to use all of our gear at our normal volume, our normal stage dimensions. I was telling
they direct mic everything,
Dylan,
or
yeah. So Dylan, the performing music on television it's never comfortable.
Yeah, it's
a compromise from beginning to end.
It really is.
It's two different, very. I always feel for like those Grammy performances and stuff like.
Oh, it's about as bad as it can get.
The musical performers are put in really, really bad positions, in my opinion. At that point, it may as well just be.
It's the second medium.
Right.
The primary medium is the
TV's what matters.
Is the live TV.
Yeah.
I mean, even in a Fender Play Live deal, it was like that. It was always like,
we couldn't just plug
really
into a
do
good amp
anything.
and just, it had to be in ears.
No,
but,
not softer. Okay. Yeah.
So, but in this, that's what made that one so much fun for us, at least. And of course, I wasn't on the Bicentennial Park stage, and also as a band, we don't use in ears, we use real wedges, and
that's why they can't hear you. Say something to Eugene, and
what?
He doesn't know what you're saying.
Am I talking?
Yeah.
And so we got to just play. We just got to just do our thing, and that's so much. It's just rare when you just flat out do your thing,
right?
Let them in, let us do our thing. And Jay Leno, for the most part, we didn't have to compromise too much, but it's just a small space and it sounds different. This is a big concert venue with a great audience, and it just felt fantastic. So thank you, Sean. And by the way, yes, just take it from me. It was live. We were live.
Oh, you can tell it's live, dude. You can tell.
Oh, did I play some bum notes?
No, not that. I mean, you can just tell because of the
mix was probably
all of that
trying to get hold. That's the other thing. We've got our mixer, but then there's someone else who's really
after that,
and they don't know where. It's just
gain staging on this stuff is impossible. That's actually where the true high level skill is at in the room. You think these guys? No,
tell them what gain staging is.
Gain staging is so you have input coming in like this microphone. It's going into a preamp. I have to size that input using my gain knob, which is the amount of input I want to let in or not.
And then from out of the
and then there's multiple gates after that leading into your formatting. So.
Good, Sean. Thank you.
You can tell it's live. But that's the whole point. We were talking about scarcity. We were talking about one-offs. We want everything to go wrong. We want all that stuff to happen. Remember the VMAs where somebody got arrested for climbing on it was the Rage Against the Machine bass players climbing on the ceiling or something like that, or Eddie Vedder climbing on, or there was always something.
The streaker in the Oscars behind David Niven.
Thank you. Would you like it to just be like a Scientology event or something like that? No offense to any Scientologists that are watching, but you know what I mean. It's like I think we want it to be unscripted.
Then why do it live?
Why do it live? Why not just
if something goofy can't happen?
We'll have the Chuck E. Cheese dolls do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good
place to leave it. We'll see you guys next time.
Next Monday.